Hi, I'm Ian, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really easy but delicious homemade focaccia bread. To make the dough, we're going to combine 360 grams or 3 cups of all-purpose flour with 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast, and 1 1/4 cups or 284 grams of water, and 1.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I would suggest using a kitchen scale if you have one to keep your measurements as precise as possible. Now we're just going to quickly mix this with a spatula or a wooden spoon to combine, and we really are just trying to remove any dry spots and get rid of any clumps. Cover this and let this rest for 15 minutes, after which we'll come back and we're going to do our first bowl fold. So wet your fingers so you don't stick to your dough, and what we're going to do is just pull a section of the dough up and over into the center of your dough. We're going to continue doing this as we work away around the dough about 8 to 12 times. This is going to build some tension in our dough and help it develop some strength. Cover, let it sit for another 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and do this 2 more times. And you can see already in our second bowl fold that the dough has already started to change. It's already started to strengthen, which is always, for me, so cool to see. So cover again for 15 minutes, and we're going to repeat this for a 3rd time. Now we're going to let this sit for an hour to let the dough start to rise and develop some of those nice puffy bubbles before we transfer it into our 9x9 inch pan that we're going to prepare by coating it with a non-stick spray and some parchment paper. I'm also going to drizzle about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil onto the bottom to make sure our focaccia is nice and crispy. And I'm just going to smooth this out with my fingers before carefully transferring this over to our pan. Then we'll cover and let this sit for the final time for about an hour, hour and a half, depending on how warm your home is. Okay, so after we've finished our final rise, we're getting into the fun part where we get to dimple our focaccia bread. So coat your fingers in some olive oil so it doesn't stick, and we're just going to press them gently throughout the dough. Careful not to pop any of the bubbles, which should start to kind of rise to the surface, which is exactly what we want. At this point, we can add some extra oil. I'm going to be using an infused oil that I made earlier today with some garlic, spicy red pepper flakes, and rosemary. If you want me to make a separate video showing you how I did this, please leave a comment below. Then I'm just going to finish by topping it with some coarse salt and some extra rosemary. We're going to bake this at 475 Fahrenheit for 15 to 18 minutes, or until the peaks are a nice, deep, crispy brown and the valleys and the crevices are nice and golden. You'll want to let this cool on a wire rack before cutting into it, but I am just very impatient and want to give it a try. This is such an easy recipe, but it produces such a beautiful focaccia, crispy on the outside and nice big fluffy bubbles on the inside. You'll definitely want to give this recipe a try. Thanks for watching.